Stress levels are at an all-time low for Chelsea fans, Chelsea players, Cobham, Stamford Bridge, you name it. It's at an all-time low. My blood pressure has plummeted in a good place. I think that is how you want it to be low, don't you? But my goodness me, Cole Palmer, he is bringing life back to this club that we love so dearly, and yeah. Again, for the second time, I've woken up on the weekend and thought, wow. I'm happy. Who would have thought it? And before we begin, please do like the video, subscribe, hit the bell notifications to be notified of any future content. And with that said, welcome back to the Player Rating Show. We've got plenty to get into, but first and last but not least, well, first and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, it's 10 o'clock. It's 10 o'clock. This is my fourth time trying to do this intro, purely down to technical difficulties. So without further ado, let's get into it. I just want to preface that we need to compare before we begin. Get into this. I want to do a team rating, and this also goes down to Maresca. This goes down to the players. This goes down to the form that we're in at the moment. After 6 games this season so far, we see ourselves in, where are we? In 4th place. 4th place, with a game more played than Aston Villa, albeit we could be in 5th by the end of the day. But as of right now, as of recording, as of 11:35 a.m. on this lovely Sunday morning, Chelsea sit in 4th with 6 games played, 4 wins, 1 draw and 1 loss, 15 goals scored and 7 goals conceded, with 13 points out of a possible 18. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. You compare that to last season, and again, we'll get into the player ratings very shortly, but the fact of the matter is, we were in 13th place at this same exact point last season. 1 win, 2 draws, 3 losses, with 5 goals scored in comparison to our 15 goals scored. 5 goals scored, 6 goals conceded, and just 5 points out of a possible 18 points. We've come a long, long way. We've come a long, long way. Hopefully we can continue the momentum. People seem to be, yip-yapping and all sorts about, we can challenge for the title this season. I'm not even remotely thinking about that right now. I think that we need to keep our heads down. We need to focus, keep the focus there. Listen, we've got an absolutely horrendous run of games coming up over the next couple of weeks. We've got Nottingham Forest on the weekend, but then we've also got Liverpool after the international break. Another international break, honestly. Liverpool, then we've got United, then we've got Newcastle, and then we've got Arsenal, or something in that order. I think maybe the United game is after Newcastle. But either way, we need to continue this momentum. We need to continue playing the way we're playing and hope for the best when it comes to actually playing against some of the top 6 teams, because it's going to be tricky. It's going to be tricky. With that all out the way, let's get into the player ratings. I've been yapping away for the last 4 minutes or so, and we haven't rated a single player. We'll start off with Renato Sanchez. Robert Sanchez, and believe me, he is not getting a 7. I feel like he shouldn't really be getting rated first, So, but I am going to get him out of the way. Negativity aside, I feel like everyone said what they needed to say about it. Although this is the player rating, so what better place to talk shit about someone? It's not talking shit if it's factual, though, is it, Robert? You were absolutely stinking the gaff up from the fucking first minute of the game. I don't want to see him playing it out from the back. We don't even allow him to take goal kicks. We give it to, Colwill or Fofana, whomever that may be. I just want to get it out of the way, and I'm not going to be, this might seem harsh. He's getting a red. He's getting a 4. And again, going back onto last episode, I don't want to be too harsh. I don't know, though. 3.5 is calling my name. It's calling my name. I'm giving him a 3.5. I think it's one of the worst performances we've seen in a while. The only thing that would make me think is a 4 is that he did make some very good saves despite his downfalls. But the downfalls were nearly, if not for Cole Palmer doing what he did, would have been detrimental. So he's going to get a 3.5. This is the only way it's going to be. It's the only way it's going to be. How on earth he could be as bad as he was yesterday is just beyond me. I really do struggle to understand why he was quite as bad. But then it's not too hard to understand considering he just is a bit stinky, isn't he? He's just a very painful player to watch, just from start to finish. Sometimes he's pleasing on the eye when you see some of his saves, but other than that, I just don't see how we can possibly. You look at this team, right? And Gusto's not getting a 3.5 again. You look at this team, maybe Madueke, maybe Gusto. But apart from that, that's a finished squad, more or less. Apart from Sanchez, of course, as well. This was what the point I was trying to make was goalkeeping. It's easily the weakest point that we have right now. And people are probably going to say, well, we've got the striker problem as well. And, you know, I will get to Jackson in a little bit, but it was one of those games. Sorry, Rufus just absolutely collapsed there. We get to, Jackson in a little bit. But, you know, goalkeeping, absolutely crucial in a game like this, as we've seen, can be the absolute detriment to the club if you play as badly as you did when everyone else around you is playing well. I say that. We're going to get to the defence in a minute. But, yeah, Gusto, I feel like not the best of a bad bunch, but certainly not the worst. I want to give him we'll go 6.5. Again, just because we won by a rather large, well, it wasn't really a large margin, was it? It was 6, what do you call it? 4 point, what the fuck am I talking about? A 4-2 final score. It was dicey to say the least. And again, if it wasn't down to, if it wasn't, you know, for this guy, we would have been in trouble. Because defensively, absolutely shocking. You look at these three bozos, these three, Cucurella really not so much as bad as the other three, but this Brighton 4, sorry, I've lumped Fofana in there for some reason. I meant to say Caicedo. Fofana probably the better out of the lot. I'm going to give him a 7. I am going to give him a 7. Purely because rather unproblematic out of the rest of them, although he did get a booking and it was a rather... In fact, actually, no. I'm wrong. He's getting a 6.5. He's the reason, one of the main reasons for the second goal, wasn't he? I need to watch that one back. I really do. But he was absolutely a part of that. It wasn't just down to Sanchez for that second goal. Sure, it was an absolute stinker of how to pass out from the back, but Fofana has to be doing better there from what I saw. I might be wrong. Don't quote me on that, but I feel like that, alongside the unnecessarily aggressive free kick that he gave away on the edge of the box, just a lapse of judgment too often for my liking with Fofana. I'm yet again to like fall in love with him as a Chelsea player just yet. Like I know he was out for a whole full season, but just a frustrating player at times to watch when you think like, oh, he could be so good. He could be so good. But for his shortcomings in certain parts of his game. The same goes for Colwill. Arguably as just a bad game or more or less the same. This duo of Fofana and Colwill, I'm still not sold on it, and I'm completely aware that it's going to take some time to get them to mold together, and that they are the most likely duo that we're going to go with. But again, it's certain things. Forward passing, Colwill is absolutely phenomenal and arguably one of the best defenders we've seen play the ball forward in quite some time. We've had some blinders. We've had David Luiz, we've had Thiago Silva, You know, Terry was good on it. He was really good with the forward balls as well. We've had an array of defenders that can play the ball forward. Badia Shiel at one point was really, really good playing the ball forward as well. Don't quite know what's happened there. But anyway, Colwill, again, I think teetering really on the cusp of a 6. If you really ask me, and do you know what? I'm going to give him a 6. I don't know. I don't think he was as good as Fofana. The absolute nightmare of that first goal was just abysmal, absolutely abysmal, and just totally avoidable. Really bad presence in the defense from everyone involved in that goal, to be completely honest with you. Cucurella, I feel as though it was, again, quite similar. He was booked, unnecessary booking as well, if I'm not mistaken. And he got absolutely clattered for that for the first goal, actually. And I think he did end up with a bit of a black eye. I'm going to be quick with him. I've given him a 6. I don't think he was teetering on 5.5, to be completely honest with you. I think a 6 is justified. Moving forward, and again, the fact alone, right? Enzo is going to get a lower rating than Caicedo, and that says so much to me because, let's be honest, that first goal was mostly, if not all, down to Caicedo not just clearing the ball away at first touch. I mean, he tried to clear it. He did try, or did he take a touch? I think he might have taken a touch and then he absolutely scuffed it. Either way, he scuffed it when he was trying to get the ball away. But just the fact alone, Enzo, I just can't get behind him at this at this current stage. He's so frustrating to watch. He just doesn't wet my whistle in any fucking way possible. And I love players that have the style that Enzo has, but he just doesn't do enough for me. He just doesn't do enough. And it's just such I don't know, like, again, reckless tackles, loses the ball, gets dispossessed quite frequently. I'm not on that Enzo bandwagon just yet. And I want to be, but it's just taking so long for me to actually really, really enjoy him. So it's a 6.5 for Caicedo, I think. A really, really weird goal to give away at the start, obviously, and then kind of got better throughout the game after that. We'll give him the rating over here so that Palmer can have a massive fucking 10 there. Let's just be honest. We're going to get... I said this last, but we'll get into that, next, really. And then I think it's not a 5.5 in any stretch of the imagination, but it's definitely a 6. Moving forwards, I'm going to leave him till last because I feel like that deserves the most sort of things spoken about. Noni Madueke, I'm going to go with a 6 point. The thing is with Madueke, right, I want nothing more than for Noni to flourish and to thrive and to have a fruitful career at Chelsea Football Club. And he had it in his hands, and he still does. I don't think he's necessarily going to get dropped just yet. I think he's got maybe one game left in the Premier League before, and obviously Neto has to have a good game against Ghent. And then if Madueke has a bit of a stinker or just not as impressive a game as you would like against Forest on Sunday next week, I think it's there for the taking for Neto. I think for now, Sancho's definitely taken that left-hand side completely by the scruff of the neck because he's fighting against Mudryk, which is just... I think I would start over Mudryk at this point. But again, it's a 6.5. He gets himself in good positions. He creates chances. He really does. But it's that final chance, that final... it's very much like Mudryk. It is very, very much like Mudryk, except for me, Madueke has shown much more talent as during his time at Chelsea Football Club. I just think he's maybe riding on that hat-trick game at the beginning of the season a little bit too much at this point to necessarily guarantee a start. I was saying the right back, purely because of James, goalkeeper and right mid are probably the 3 positions up for grabs. Other than that, the majority of these positions are done. They're done. I don't see, Jackson as well. We've got Nkunku sort of like, sort of doing his thing as well. And so it makes it hard. It really does make it hard. But those 3 for me, goalkeeper, right back, right mid, and obviously striker, it's all up for grabs. I just really hoped that Madueke would secure it because he was putting in really good performances at the beginning. It's just teetering out a little bit now, is it not? But a 6.5 for him. A 6.5 for him. Into the last 3, I will do substitute sort of like brief ratings. I never like to really do substitute ratings because it's like this, unless they have a really huge impact on the game, which none of them really did for my liking. We'll probably keep it at a minimum. Now we're getting into like the higher level. And I know you're probably looking right and you're like, fuck me, these are a lot of 6s for a game we won quite, 4-2. It wasn't convincing. It wasn't convincing. Might I remind you, for Christ's sake, we had 41% possession, for Christ's sake. They had 15 shots, as did we. They had 5 on target. We had 7. They had 3 big chances. They only missed one of them. So this game was not, cut and dry. This was not a definitive win by any stretch of the imagination. It's just this bastard right here is just so damn good. Anyway, moving back to Sancho, and again, just massively impressed. I think I was saying at the end of the stream that I really think that me personally, I was really worried about Sancho coming in. First of all, I didn't want him. I really wasn't intrigued by I was intrigued, but from a negative sort of way. I didn't think it was worth, the risk was way higher than the reward. But now he's playing well. The reward for me has started to actually appear to be quite fruitful, quite big, quite grand. And so, an assist in this game, again, I mean, I need to see what his stats are at this point because he is doing really, really well. It's got to be 3. Is that not 3 for Sancho this season? 3 assists in 2 starts and 3 games. It's absolutely outrageous how good he has been from the get-go. And I'm going to go there. I think it's an 8.5, I genuinely think Sancho has been easily one of the top 3 players of the season. And I don't think that goes, that's not like a fucking crazy take. It's very obvious. But he is just that much better than everyone else to a degree. And he is, without doubt, alongside Palmer, alongside... It's hard because Nkunku for me is a guaranteed starter, but he doesn't fucking start, does he? So it's hard. But Nkunku's easily one of the best players we've got at the moment. Jackson as well. It's Palmer. The thing is, I don't say Jackson is because it's up for grabs, like I say. But Sancho and Palmer for me are the 2 guaranteed starters at this point, alongside, in attack, I'm saying. Caicedo and Enzo are obviously always going to start. Fofana and Cole are always going to start. But talking first names on the score on the team sheet, Palmer and then Sancho and then the rest, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So an 8.5 for him. Nicholas Jackson, mate, it could be so much higher, could it not? It could be so much higher. But I just feel like... First of all, let's get this out of the way. Absolutely fantastic assist from him. He could have easily, he was well within his rights to shoot. But he sort of like ran past the ball and was falling over and made the pass back to Palmer. Sweaty goal. The sweatiest goal you'll ever see. But a fantastic goal. A really, really good goal. Great determination from him to pick up the ball from the defender in the first place and then move into the position to play it back to the Palmer that was, of course, in waiting. Other than that, the Geezers missed so many chances in this game. How many did he... Chances created, 1. Big chances missed, 2. I just feel like he had so many chances that he just took way too long to shoot. And I don't know for why. I don't know what took so long. Maybe the pressures, but then he's been so good lately, so clinical in a world where people think that he isn't clinical. It's crazy to me that he hasn't been clinical in this game when Palmer's just scoring for fun, you know. But yeah, I'm going to go with... I'm not giving an 8.5. He's going to get a... He's getting a 7.5. That might seem harsh. I was really, really debating an 8 there. So if you're really angry at me for not giving him an 8, if he'd scored a goal, any goal, I think it would have been an 8, maybe even an 8.5. But the lack of clinical effort in this game, it really did diminish his overall rating, which, I bet he's so gutted that I haven't given him an 8. Last but not least, and again, I'll go through the subs. We had Neto, we had Vega, we had Mudryk, we had Lavia. Great to see Lavia back. And we saw Nkunku as well. Nkunku not really having the impact that he has over the last couple of games, but still good to see him getting game time in any capacity. 11 minutes, I think, is taking the piss a little bit, but good to see him nevertheless. Other than that, really no one really had an impact for my liking. So we move on to the king, the absolute creme de la creme, that is Mr. Cold Cole Palmer. And you know I've got to get out the gold for this. He's done it. And I want to preface as well, for those of you that watched the last player ratings for the game against West Ham, or Barrow, maybe? I don't know if I did one for Barrow. Did I do one for Barrow? I think I did one for Barrow. I think it was for the West. I don't know. It might be. Whatever. I said a 10 would be hard to come by. I said a 10 would be really hard to come by, and that it would really take something magical to get a 10. But by God, ladies and gentlemen, 1 week later, that's exactly what we've been given. We've been graced with an absolute perfect performance. And the fact that this geezer missed chances and could have easily scored 6. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Are you hearing what's coming out of these lips? I can't fathom. The fact he didn't get an assist today seems crazy to me as well. Chances created 4. You know, the passing from him alone was magical from start to finish. That hooked pass over the top that he keeps doing. Good God, it's so good. I love it. But the goals were fantastic. The free kick, phenomenal. Arguably the best free kick we've seen ever scored at Stamford Bridge. And that takes some doing, because we've seen some fucking crazy free kicks at Stamford Bridge. But it was just an all-round perfect performance. I can't say much more than that. I really can't. And in the interest of time, I won't. Because nothing really needs to be said other than the man is magic. And we are witnessing history in the making. Because this man, if you thought Hazard had the makings of a potential Ballon d'Or winner, it was just never going to happen against the competition that he had in Messi and Ronaldo and, you know, that era. This man right here has the potential to win the Ballon d'Or. He really, truthfully does. That is how good he is, and how good that performance was, and how consistently good he is. Ballon d'Or in the making. It is outrageous how good this man is. With that said, Sanchez 3.5, Gusto 6.5, Fofana 6.5, Cole 6, Cucurella 6, Caicedo and Madueke 6.5s, Enzo with a 6, Sancho with an 8.5, Jackson with a 7.5, and Cole Palmer with a big fat 10. With that said, let me know your ratings in the comments down below. I'm sure some of this will be controversial, as it always will be, as these are subjective, very subjective to your own ratings. I'm sure people would have given like 9s and 8s to certain people, but I'm trying to be as methodical. I'm trying to be as, level-headed with the ratings. And I think that based on the game that we had, based on the way that we played, I don't think it was a great team performance per se, but more so an outrageously one-man mission with a few little bits sprinkled here from Sancho and Jackson, and but overall just an absolute masterclass from Cole Palmer. So please do like the video, subscribe, hit the bell notification to be notified of any future content on the channel. We are close. We're so close. We are so close to 10,000 subscribers. Please do subscribe. It would mean the world to me. Again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's 10 o'clock. Thank you for watching. My name is Harry. Up the Chelsea, and peace.